It's night time at São Tomé Airport. The planes are beginning to arrive back from their first shuttle to Biafra. Lorries laden with milk powder are standing by, and as soon as the plane is stationary, the loading begins. A cargo like this, which can be loaded and offloaded in a matter of minutes, enables the same plane to make 3 round trips to Uli before dawn. It's been a very quiet night so far, with no bombing or anti-aircraft fire reported from Biafra. One plane failed to make radio contact at Uli and had to return without landing. Another burst a tire on landing and is on its way back to São Tomé with only 3 wheels operational. But these are considered pretty minor problems on the Uli run. While the planes are reloading, their crews have a cup of coffee or a snack in the airport restaurant. They're often joined by wives and friends, drawn irresistibly by the excitement of the place.
The other plane didn't come back. It's very late coming back.
Yes, he ran into some trouble with his landing gear, and actually a tire burst, and they have to take a wheel off and bring it in. 3 wheels.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's not very good.
Yeah.
The loading is finished. The tanks are refilled. The plane moves off into the darkness. All over Biafra, people are waiting, listening for the sound of the engines, the sound that brings terror by day, hope by night. In their hour of trial, they know that they have not been completely forgotten by the rest of the world. They know that men have died in order that they may live. Perhaps the one solution to their problems, a just and lasting peace, is nearer than it seems. In the meantime, for all its inadequacy, the night flight to Uli remains a beacon of light and hope in one of the darkest places of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to São Tomé. My primary mission on this trip is to explore the São Tomé island and also see some of the sites and things that played significant role during the Biafra War. More importantly, to bring to light the role this island played for the survival of the Biafran people during this time. If this is your first time on my channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a reaction on the video. São Tomé is a Central African island colonized by the Portuguese in the 1400s. Being quite near to Biafra, it played the important role in ensuring military and relief supplies for the 30-month-old civil war. Other countries like Côte d'Ivoire and Gabon played key roles as well. These are well known, unlike São Tomé. São Tomé's involvement was not necessarily the choice of the indigenous São Toméans living on the island. It was Portugal's, whose leader at the time took side with Biafra. Most of the activities that were carried out here in São Tomé were done by foreigners. The local population knew little or nothing but the increase in the number of foreigners in town, which significantly made life more expensive. The big question is, why will São Tomé, a Portuguese island, get involved in the Biafran War, which was happening on mainland Africa? The answer is simple. It's because the Biafran government at the time needed a neutral place close to Biafra where they could airlift military supplies into Biafra as a result of the military blockade imposed by the Nigerian federal government, which prevented ships from arriving or leaving the ports of Biafra. The churches and other humanitarian agencies joined the bandwagon to airlift humanitarian supplies in order to alleviate the humanitarian crisis happening in Biafra. This gave birth to the Biafra airlift and several other relief operations which happened at that time. Many indigenous authors never talked about the involvement of São Tomé and Príncipe. However, many international authors who were on ground did. David Coren, the author of Far Away in the Sky, a memoir of the Biafran airlift, detailed his experiences working as a United States Peace Corps volunteering during the war. Gerhard Seibat, an international author, also detailed some of the events that happened on São Tomé Island from the private archives of the Portuguese governor who was in charge of the island during the Civil War. Approximately 30 non-governmental organizations and several governments provided non-military, direct and indirect aid through or in support of the Biafran airlift. These relief operations were very dangerous for several reasons. First, the Uli airport, which was then codenamed Annabelle, had a lot of challenges, which includes not having a standard landing equipment, and the pilots were bothered about being bombed by the enemy. These volunteers considered the lives of millions of Biafrans who would die if they failed to act, of more importance than the daily dangers they faced while shuttling from São Tomé to Uli. At the helm of this relief effort was Reverend Father Tony Bryan, a Catholic missionary of the Holy Ghost Order who spent 10 years working in the then eastern Nigeria, which is now Biafra.
Father Tony Bryan, last March you organised the airlifting of 60 tonnes of food from Lisbon to São Tomé, and this seems to be the beginning of the airlifting of food.
Yes, actually this was the beginning. I came here last March to start the operation. I didn't think at that time that it was possible for this operation to develop into the world's greatest relief operation. We had 60 tons come down here by boat, and later on we transported to Biafra. We thought then this was a wonderful achievement. Looking back on it now, since last March we have airlifted 850 tons of, 850 airlifts with about 10.5 tons on each plane.
This business of the church actually buying planes, if you could charter planes, then why did you actually buy them?
Well, you see, at that time no company would come into this operation. They considered it as an extremely dangerous operation, so it is. But they were not at all interested. We had to buy planes in order to prove to these companies that it was worthwhile coming into this operation. Transair Sweden, Transavia, Fred Olsen and all the other companies, some of the planes you see here, these have come into the operation after we had bought the planes.
You mean simply financially worthwhile?
Yes, financially worthwhile, and also, you know, then some people thought that Biafra was only it would only last a very short time, and therefore it wasn't worthwhile bringing planes down here. But in fact, it has been worthwhile for these people.
How much does it cost to keep the planes running, actually? I mean, to have your own planes at $75,000 each was quite a purchase, yes. But to keep them running?
Well, to charter one plane from here to Biafra cost me $2,900. And we have, as I say, chartered 850 so far, so the operation is extremely costly. But I think it's money well spent, because life is sacred. And we are serving not the government or the army, we are serving the ordinary civilian population, the women and the children who are starving and who are depending on our food. We believe that these children have a right to live. They have committed no crime. They know nothing about ideas like economic blockade, secession or independence. All they know is that they are very, very hungry and they need food and need it urgently. And we feel that we have a moral obligation to keep these people alive.
Since this airlift started, you've had 2 crashes, 4 pilots killed the other day. Have you any regrets that you started this enterprise?
No, I think that some people must die to save 9 million people to live. And I think that in saving people to live, we must be ready to die. Captain McComey, an English pilot, spoke to me a week ago, and he said, Father, even though the night raids at the airport in Biafra are very serious, we must continue to fly supplies to these starving people. And he said, I am prepared to lose my life in doing this work. Last Sunday he lost his life, and I had to go to his wife and his young family and to the wives of the other pilots and tell them the sad news. This has been a big sorrow for us, and I hope and pray that we won't have this.
The idea of airlifting emergency aid from São Tomé to the suffering population of Biafra started when he persuaded mercenary pilots who flew Biafran military supplies from Lisbon to Port Harcourt to carry food and medical supplies to Biafra as well. Apart from coordinating the Catholics and Protestant relief efforts, which was difficult because of their theological differences, Father Bryan's effort ensured both denominations succeeded in carrying out the largest civilian relief operations in the history of mankind. The father also went on several fundraising tours in America and Europe for the relief operations. The aircraft Canal Relief was born in November 1968 when some concerned Canadian churches and individuals got together to ensure the continuation of humanitarian aid to Biafra. They started off the operation with 1 plane and ended up with 5, of which 1 crashed in Uli, which resulted in the death of all Canadian crew members. 1 of the planes was damaged and abandoned in Uli. The 3rd was damaged but was sold after repairs when the war ended. These 2 here in São Tomé could not be sold. During the war, these planes planes were flown from here in São Tomé to Port Harcourt, but eventually to Uli after Port Harcourt Airport was captured by Nigeria. They were actively part of the 5,314 missions which carried more than 60,000 tons of humanitarian aid that enabled the emergency centers to feed an estimated 4 million people and saving 1 million lives, predominantly children in Biafra. These planes are Lockheed L-1049 Super Constellations, an American aircraft and a member of the Lockheed Constellation aircraft line. They started flying in the 1950s. Models of these airplanes are also used by the United States Navy and the Air Force. In 2000, a local entrepreneur here in São Tomé transformed these two aircrafts into a restaurant called Asas d'Avião, which translates to aircraft wings in English. We will take a tour of these two aircrafts. This same entrepreneur lives in one of these planes and used this other one for a restaurant. Let us explore the rest of the aircraft. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a reaction.
Wow. 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 Muito bom.
Deixa eu ver.
Ok. Ok. Exit. Ok. Muito bom. E por que as pessoas não vêm aqui para comer? Por quê?
O restaurante fechado.
Por quê?
Não sei. O meu chefe aqui disse que fechar só deixou só na água.
Ok.
Só comida, mas...
Posso? Muito obrigado. Ok. Muito obrigado.
Lá na ponta.
Ok.
Aceita?
Como?
Vai lá.
Ok. Wow. Uau. Muito bom, muito, muito, muito bom. Okay. Thank you, God.
Apart from airlifting relief materials to Uli in Biafra, these planes lifted sick children from Biafra to São Tomé, Gabon and Ivory Coast.
In the church at Uzaba, the final selection of the children takes place. Word has just come through that there's a Red Cross plane flying in tonight from Gabon, which will be able to take 50 children on its way back. Some of the children from Butakaya will be on the plane, together with others who've been examined by the sister doctor and found fit enough to make the long journey. For each child going abroad, a long form has to be filled out in quadruplicate and signed by the parents or the parents' representative. If they can't write, their right thumbprint takes the place of a signature.
What is her name?
Bibiana Akota.
Before they leave for the airstrip, each child is given a numbered medal for purposes of identification. Almost 3,000 children have so far been taken out of the country by Caritas, and it's necessary to keep accurate records of every one. For the purposes of the journey, Bibiana Akuta has become number 66. The chain is firmly fastened, and she'll not be able to remove it until she reaches her destination.
Due to its proximity to the airport and the Caritas facility where relief materials are stored, Caritas decided to accommodate some of the already recovered children around here in Quinta Santo Antonio. A story was told of some of the recovering children who ate some of the food and hid the rest since they are used to food scarcity. Only when they realized that there was enough food, they ate what they wanted and left the rest. Once recovered, they shared their food with the newly arrived children and encouraged them to eat.
I have a tape that I made then, and I'll play a part of it for you. You won't know. You hear all the words that they say or sing, but just listen to the spirit.
What is your name? Your name is Nicholas. What is that thing you have there? A gun? Where did you get it? Jamaica. What you gonna do with that gun?
I want to take a fight.
Fight who? All right. Where are you from?
I'm from Ubo.
Where is that near? Is that near Omaha?
No.
No.
According to New York Times, these Biafran children clung pitifully to any visitor, pleading to be picked up and hugged. Even though most of the signs of kwashiorkor had gone, these children starved for affection. Most of the kids here were returned back to Biafra or Nigeria after the war, unlike Gabon, where the identities of some of the kids could no longer be established, and the kids ended up becoming citizens of Gabon. I stayed in Josepha's house during this trip in Quinta Santo Antonio, and she will be taking me on a tour to show me where the Biafran children were kept and where the Caritas facility was located during the war. Tell me your thoughts on the comments. Please kindly subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching and keep traveling.
Ok, mãe, você pode começar a explicar?
Sim, aqui,
Ok.
na guerra
Nigéria? Sim.
Ficaram aqui muitas crianças instaladas
Ok.
por algum tempo.
Oh,
Depois, quando passou a guerra, então eles voltaram outra vez para
Nigéria. Ok.
Eles estavam ali, então aquela casa, ali, pronto. Depois transformaram as coisas.
Ok, sim.
Transformaram as coisas.
Todo lugar é já transformado?
Sim, porque já passou muito tempo.
Ok.
Biafra, a gente não dizia Nigéria,
Ok.
Biafra.
Ok.
Então, todas essas. Mas para além disso também, para além dessas casas, tinham,
Para onde?
para além dessas
Ok.
casas,
Ok.
tinham montadas tendas.
Oh,
Montaram tendas.
ok. Ok.
Dessas casas,
Ok.
tinham montadas tendas.
Oh,
Montaram tendas.
ok.
Essa casa também.
Essa casa?
São as pessoas que ficavam ali, depois eles faleceram.
Ok.
Agora, olha, vamos terminar ali.
Ok, ali, ok. Muito bom. Ok. Então, vamos para casa. Muito obrigado. Isso termina aqui, não?
Não, termina ali.
Ok.
Assim.
Onde?
Ali embaixo.
Ali embaixo. Ok. Bom dia. Quero ver tudo. Ok. Oh. Aqui é onde?
Aqui é onde? Aqui é um lugar que dá refeições quentes, comida para os idosos.
Ok.
Para as pessoas que já não podem.
Oh, ok. Muito
E
obrigado.
aqui a Igreja Católica
Ok.
faz as comidas e
Ok.
todas as segundas, quartas e sextas e eles vêm para aqui na hora de comer, venham comer, depois vão-se embora.
Oh,
E quando as pessoas também que não podem, eles levam comida para casa.
Ok. Muito bom.
Então,
A igreja ajuda muito pessoas.
sim,
Ajuda.
Então pronto. Terminou aqui.
Ok.
Depois aqui também para baixo continua Santo Antônio.
Ok.
Continua Santo Antônio, pois
Ok.
é.
Então, muito obrigado, mãe. Hospedade muito
Então,
bom.
agora vai para baixo?
Sim, eu vou para centro.
Vai para centro.
Vai para centro,
Então
sim.
podemos ir assim e depois ir assim. Eu vou contigo.
Ok.
Vamos.
Obrigado, mãe.
De nada.